Welcome to the Business Spotlight podcast. My name is David Beeson. I'm your host for today's conversation. My guest today is Ashley Ciccel, the co-founder at Higher Innovation. We're going to be talking about her business, journey to business ownership, challenges, best practices, and share a peek of what it's really like to build and operate a business. Ashley, welcome to the show, and thank you for being here today. I would love for you to give us a little bit of background of who you are and tell us a little bit about your business as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. Like you said, I'm Ashley, the co-founder of Higher Innovation. We are a cannabis technology and hardware company. And my background, I started out in the marketing and advertising world. And then from there, joined my first startup back in 2014. It was a lifestyle e-commerce gifting brand. And that took me out to San Francisco. We moved that business here to Austin. And since then, I've been at a sustainability CPG brand. I've helped grow a digital services company. And then in 2022, my husband and I decided to kind of branch out and start Higher Innovation on our own. At all of these startups, my focus has been around how do you operationalize a company for success, build that foundation so that they can scale appropriately and quickly and kind of as needed in the right way. So that's handling everything from hiring through setting up, the brass tacks things of like QuickBooks and your banking to what does it look like when we want to manufacture something overseas or here domestically? And how then do you get the distribution from that and everything in between?
Gotcha. Awesome. Yeah. Well, so what role do you currently play in the business? Like, what's a day in the life of Ashley?
Ha, a day in the life. So within the business, I'm the CEO of the company. So my focus is strictly on managing our partnership relationships with sales channels like Walmart, Best Buy, our wholesalers and drop shippers that we work with, as well as finding new sales channels. And then we also have licensing that we do. So, we launched the product initially, our Hotbox air purifier with Mike Tyson's cannabis brand, Tyson 2.0. And so I do a lot of management with that, ensuring that we are delivering what we need to for the Tyson 2.0 team, having those conversations, exploring future license arrangements as well, and then working with our engineering team. And that's where my husband's focus is on product innovation. He is the inventor of all of the products, and then making sure we're able to deliver products where they need to go, when they need to get there at the right time. And then what do we have on the future pipeline?
Gotcha. I'm curious why the cannabis industry? What made y'all wanna jump into that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, our first product that is currently in beta, it's called the Duet, and it's a dual chambered smart grinder that will grind, weigh, blend, and pack a joint for you in 30 seconds to a minute. And the reason we kind of started in that world is that we wanted to create a way to have accessibility to plant medicine. And a lot of times, people who are wanting to get off opioids or they just want some type of an alternative to prescription drugs or alcohol or whatever that is, they don't necessarily know how to consume cannabis and combust cannabis in that way. A lot of the product is very high potency. And so that's where
Yeah.
you get some of these, like, I had a terrible first time. And what really needs to happen on the medical side of things is these providers are telling their patients to use CBD and THC together and create these blends. And a lot of times, that's just not what you're able to get at your local dispensary here in the US, because in your local dispensary, people just want really high potency stuff a lot of the time. That's
hmm
shifting, which has kind of been, we were foreshadowing that. And so giving people at the touch of a button access to plant medicine was really rooted in our mission. How do we make sure that all veterans, if they want access to this, have the ability to do that? And so it's a personal mission for my husband. His entire family is veterans. He's been very heavily impacted by, the opioid crisis through the VA. And so for him, it's how do we bring that to life? So that's kind of how we started. And while we were working on that product, it's just a very complex hardware unit to create. And so we started iterating on what are other solutions that we can solve. And so one of those that he realized was kind of the smell and the odor of cannabis alongside of there's just not a lot of like portable air filtration devices out there that
Yeah.
aren't like the crazy Bane mask wearables that someone like a Dyson's kind of like thinking is the future. Like nobody wants that. I think we all learned in the pandemic, like we don't want something on our face. So,
Yeah.
we just started down that path around different, what does the future of air purification look like? And that led us to kind of the hot box so you can have clean air wherever you are, no matter where you are.
Yeah, no, definitely. So when you look at your role, how many hours would you say you spend working in your business, so the job itself, and how many would you say on the business strategy planning? I know you said you're the CEO, so I think it's obvious which one is probably a little more.
I mean, I'm in the business all day, every day. To me, there's no differentiation between it. We're such a small team and we're so lean. So, um, for me, it's less, strategy versus in the business versus, probably need to spend, I probably need to spend a little bit more time on, some marketing and some of those things that we're currently outsourcing or we don't have the resources necessarily to find that just are annoying to me. Like content creation to me is just like such a pain.
Yeah.
But there's a strategy around it and all of that. And that's something that I don't love to spend my time in, but it, it's all day, every day, especially working with your husband. There's no downtime. So late at night after our toddler goes down, we can have those big strategy sessions because that's what's making our world turn right now.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's cool. So this is always a fun question I like to ask entrepreneurs. If I were able to give you an extra 10 hours back each week, how would you invest those hours? Would it be in the business? Would it be personal time, family time?
By 10 hours. It would definitely probably be family time. I mean, I think for us, we get a lot of family time, but being able to just my husband and I working together, but getting that dedicated time where we're not having to deal with our little guy and trying to run the business, I think is where I would do it just, and I would do it through experiences. So I'd probably
Yeah.
split part of that 10 hours with what are experiences we can go do as a family, get out of the house, expose our 4-year-old to different types of things in this world, or what trip can we take him on with that extra time? Because hopefully it's generated more revenue. And then within the business, probably allocate it to the things I don't want to do, like the content creation or some of those other
Yeah.
facets.
Um, awesome. Yeah. So I'm curious, why did y'all choose to go into entrepreneurship and, business? I know that you said that you've worked at a couple of the startups. I'm curious what that transition was like from like working a normal 9 to 5 to doing that.
Yeah, I guess I'm a glutton for punishment. So I've always been someone who, when I've been at a company, I always try to do a little bit more than is asked. And I think that's why I was so drawn to the startup world because you get to wear a lot of different hats and experience different things. And so as soon as I, joined that first startup in 2014, it really just got it where I was like, man, this is so fun. Like it's very hard, but it's really fun. And so I just wanted to go down that route. I never thought I would be someone to have my own business because I'm not an ideas person. Working with physical goods is incredibly challenging. Manufacturing is incredibly challenging. And helping those companies bring it to life is really fun. So it really happened where my husband had great ideas and we were able to kind of get some good feedback early on that gave the product some traction. And then he was working at a big software company and it was, how do we if we want to do it, let's just jump 2 feet in and see what happens. And so he had good products and he was willing to kind of take that leap alongside me for us to try to build this together.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm curious during this journey of business ownership that y'all have been on, what's been like a hurdle or a big roadblock that y'all had to overcome?
Yeah, so manufacturing in the hardware space is very hard. It's very cost prohibitive. And alongside with us being just enough cannabis adjacent, that there's just regulatory obstacles that we've hit. So at the end of the day, we're a hardware manufacturer. We manufacture an air purifier. However, with federal legislation, there's, in banking policy, it's hard for cannabis companies to get a bank account and there's just some things that happen. So, we were at a trade show in Vegas and I was trying to run a $5,000 transaction and I got shut down by Square. We've gotten shut
Wow.
down by a few of the big banks and that makes it really challenging when you get flagged as a high risk brand when you're trying to be a domestic US manufacturer. And again, we're just making an air purifier. What you do with it is up to you. And so for us, it's just expensive because you've got to front all of these costs for R&D. You have to front the cost of the inventory to then hopefully get those sales going. And then in the world in which we live in right now, the foreseeable future, everything is content creation and everything, you've got to have the D2C sales and you've got to have the different channels as well. And it just gets really challenging from a cash flow perspective because you're out so much up front and being adjacent where we are. And then just startup financing in general doesn't exist. The
Yeah.
solution that a lot of people have is just get credit cards, which is not a good solution for anything. And so outside of being independently wealthy, it's a challenging time, especially in the hardware space, where it just takes a little bit more time for that revenue to be generating while you're getting the product to a marketable place and commercial place.
Yeah, no, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, the I'm curious with you being in the cannabis industry, has it changed since has anything changed with them dropping it from being a Schedule 1 to a Schedule 3 drug in the landscape right now federally?
Yeah, so since they've rescheduled or they're going through the process of the reschedule from the administration's executive order, some stuff has changed. I mean, here in Texas, where I am, it's still up to the states.
Hmm.
Even with the executive order of the rescheduling, it's still going to be up to the states. And here in Texas, they spent all last, state legislative session trying to ban hemp. We don't have THC here. We have all the hemp products that failed on like multiple occasions. And so now in the state of Texas, they're trying to regulate it, whatever that looks like. So there's some positive movement on the rescheduling front. We personally, our stance as Higher Innovation is that the plant should be completely descheduled and it should be treated like alcohol or tobacco. So
Agreed.
there is movement, but right now, until there's federal legalization, and then that Congress can hopefully pass safer banking to allow for just regular bank accounts for cannabis
Yeah.
companies and some of that stuff. It's still a challenge. I think also they haven't fully rolled out everything with the rescheduling, and so it'll make some good progress here in the future, but it's slow and steady.
Yeah, it's still really crazy the way the cannabis landscape is in the United States because it's like there's so many studies and so much information that shows how much good it can do and how much
Mhm.
healthier it is than something like alcohol or something like cigarettes even and nicotine products, and it's still heavily banned in so many states such as our state of Texas. It's very crazy the landscape of it sometimes and why it's such a politically motivated thing a lot of the time.
Yeah, well, and I think going back to our why and how we got started with that first product, that's a product that, when commercially available, which is we're hoping to have later this year, we want it to be something that is a medical device that's approved for you to just like new moms can get breast pump subsidized by through their insurance. This device is something that should be able to be subsidized through your insurance as well. If you are getting a prescription for plant medicine and your choice is to combust, you should have the ability to get the prescription you want and fulfill it how you want. And
Yeah.
outside of it going through the pharmacies to get that prescription filled in the flower, whatever format you want, then you're not able to do it. But with doing it by hand. And so the pharmaceutical companies who are working on the pills and all the other types of consumables on that are just the problem. That's why for us, we're like, they can continue to pump people with opioids and they can continue to capitalize on the cannabis industry once
Yeah.
rescheduling happens, because rescheduling still treats it as a pharmaceutical. And so for us, we just want to say, like, no one should be really taking opioids. No one should have an addiction to opioids. It's such a killer to society. So we're just like, how do we go, candidly after someone like a big pharma and say, let's just like make people's lives better, not perpetually worse.
Oh yeah, no, I mean I agree completely. I love what y'all are doing. This is awesome. Um, so what makes y'all's business unique? Like how do y'all communicate what makes y'all stand out against y'all's competition?
Yeah, we are super nimble and fast. So what makes us unique is that we manufacture the product here in the US. So we manufacture it out in our office just north of Boston in Pflugerville. We have some parts that were sourced overseas just based on the lack of infrastructure that currently exists in the US. But because we control so much of our supply chain and we're so vertically integrated, we have the ability to say, hey, we met Mike Tyson's team in July and we went live in December with
Yeah,
that
that's awesome.
because we could sample very quickly. We could take feedback very, very simple on the licensee side, working with celebrities of that caliber. But then also we can get feedback from customers that say, like, hey, this feels weird, or I don't like this component, or this happened when I was using it. And we can take that feedback and make changes in real time. I'm not having to wait for mold fees. I'm not having to be out hundreds of thousands of dollars and all of these costs and just have people be like, well, this is what the next, 10,000 units look like. So until I have it, everyone's going to have this same complaint. The moment someone doesn't like something, we can make a change. And for
Yeah.
us, when we're thinking about from the air purification standpoint and market, right, you've got the Dysons, the Sharks, the Lennox, the Wicks of the world. And they're just kind of what they are. They're like the big behemoths that we can kind of come in and be quicker and we can have a premium product that consumers are helping to maximize its functionality.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's awesome. So kind of transitioning into marketing a little bit. So I know you brought up like you have a background in marketing and then the content creation stuff. Yeah, my background is also in marketing, so I love to kind of get to talk about marketing, have these conversations. I am curious, what different marketing strategies do y'all currently have in place?
Yeah, so we do paid ads on, Meta. We're about to roll out some Reddit ads from a paid media standpoint, as well as within our marketplaces on Best Buy and as well as Walmart. So running
Mhm.
ads there. Luckily for us, having the partnership with the Tyson 2.0 team has done a lot for us. It gave us some credibility on the outset of like that it's a real product, it's a real brand when we kind of came out of nowhere. So we get a lot of traction from the Tyson world and ecosystem, which has allowed us to grow and be pretty international. We're about to ship an order out to Latvia for a
Oh, wow.
wholesaler. We're shipping product to, I went shipped a unit, someone bought it direct to consumer in Iceland, Poland, France,
That's
Germany.
awesome.
We've kind of been able to get some of that. So a lot of it's been pretty organic for us. We've had, but this year we're looking to do more experiences so people can see the product in action. And then continue through like a direct and paid media strategy, as well as like amp up some UGC content with different influencers.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, no, that's great. I love kind of hearing like all the different strategies and stuff. It sounds like you guys have a pretty good plan kind of laid out, especially for this next year. Yeah,
Yeah.
and the Tyson thing definitely probably helped a lot with him being such a big name. And I know that he's like huge in the cannabis industry now over the
Yes.
last couple years. So yeah, that's probably awesome. I have a friend who loves to partake, so I'm gonna ask actually if he's heard of y'all because he probably has.
Well, and
Uh
if not, we're happy to give everybody a code for who wants to get clean air wherever you are, whether you partake in the industry or not. If you just want access to clean air on the go, it's battery powered. Put it in your car, hotel, house, whatever you're doing, and you'll at your desk if your office is like a little wonky. We have
yeah,
the product is a good solution for you there.
that's awesome. Um So I'm curious, what approach do y'all have to tracking leads? Do y'all kind of have like a CRM that you prefer or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a CRM. We do a ton of work at trade shows as well. So, scanning in the business cards with whatever that app is when we do it. A lot of the trade shows, will have the tap to the badge, which just
Yeah.
gives you a spreadsheet and we're able to track in that capacity.
Yeah, it's awesome. So kind of transitioning to team. I know that you said that you have a small team. I'm curious how big is y'all's team?
Yeah, we've got just about 10 people on the team.
Gotcha, gotcha. Kind of like various different positions, some in like engineering, some in like more like the strategy side.
Yeah, the majority of the team are engineers, just because at our heart we are a hardware company and technology company.
Yeah.
So we've got software engineers, roboticists, electrical engineers, because again, we manufacture it here. So whatever you can think of the type of role for how you would like put together some type of hardware, whether that's your computer, air purifier, phone, speaker.
Yeah.
those are the roles that we're core focused on so that we can deliver a good product to our customers.
Gotcha, gotcha. And how's your how would you describe your leadership style in business? And has it changed over the years?
It's definitely changed over the years, from when I was at kind of that first startup back in 2014. I mean, for me, everything comes down to just like three kind of easy things, and that's context, goals, and accountability. And without those three things, then I think a company will fail, or just have a bigger uphill battle. And so I have an open door policy. Anybody can talk to me about anything. I don't care. I want to know if you're unhappy in the workplace, if you're stressed, if you want to try something new, if you have a product idea. So for me, I'm just kind of an open door. I've definitely experienced founders who um, are a little bit more challenging to work with and want to kind of control every single aspect of the company. And that's just not my stance on things. I never want someone to be afraid to come to work every day. And that's something that I know happens a lot of times at different companies and startups. If you've got kind of micromanaging bosses and we're making cool products, like it's fun. Like we've got a roboticist that's like, it's cool stuff. We're not,
Yeah.
trying to change the world over here. We're not curing cancer. We can help cancer patients feel better through our products. But yeah, for me, it's just kindness goes a really long way.
Yeah, yeah, no, makes sense. All right, I think we can transition to a couple rapid fire questions if you're
Okay.
ready.
Yeah.
What is the key to success for you?
Oh, family keeps you grounded. The people that you surround yourself, whether that's your family you choose or the family that you create on your own, your brothers, sisters, spouses, that's the key to success. They keep you grounded. They keep you in real life when the days get really hard, or you get a little overinflated when those good days happen as well.
I agree completely. That is also my key to success too. So I love that. Me and my wife are actually expecting our first child in April, so we're
Oh,
super excited about that.
congrats.
Thank you so much. Um, what is a piece of advice you have for other business owners?
Surround yourself with people who will be honest with you and get out of your just core circle. So I can say that kind of like family and those friends are your key to success, but they can also be your biggest downfall. And so the company you keep is incredibly crucial. My mom is always going to tell me that I am, God's gift to earth, and she's going to
Yeah,
always try to, make sure tell me that it's good, and she'll be honest, but you need those people who that you can go to and be like, I'm feeling this, or I had this meeting, or I'm thinking of walking down this path, and I want to talk through it, or whatever the circumstance may be. And you need someone who can tell you no, or you need someone who can push back on you. I think that's what a lot of the founders who candidly I think are the more challenging bosses, they surround themselves with the people who are only going to give them a yes,
yeah,
and it's detrimental to the growth of the company. And so you can't isolate yourself, but you can't only hold on to like your mom, dad, spouse, brother, best friend, because they love you too much to hurt you. They don't want to see you fail, but they're not going to say no in the way or that you need to hear it for it to really come through.
yeah, yeah. No, makes sense. What's a book or podcast you're reading or listening to right now?
I mean, I love how I built this from the podcast standpoint, from like an entrepreneurial standpoint. I am definitely more of a like fiction reader. I feel like life is very stressful in the world. Work is stressful, so I like to like disconnect when I'm reading, and will
Yeah.
read, the Fourth Wing series, or some, like I love all of the Emily Henry books, and I
Hmm.
just am like The Alchemist is a good one if you like want just like a real book to like recommend. But for
Yeah,
me, when I read, I want to calm my brain down,
I'm
and
the
I
same
need
way.
to not think necessarily. But I mean, I love like How I Built This. I listen to like Who Weekly, which is just like a pop culture podcast, and I can chat about it with my cousins, and we can go to their live shows and just like bring some fun, because like work is so challenging that like I need any of those extracurriculars to be stimulating, but like I need to
Yeah.
not think all the time.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree completely. My reading, everyone always asks me, and that's why I always like to ask this question because I'm curious if people are reading business books or if they're reading more fiction. I work a lot, and my reading time is for me. It's not for work. It's like I'm gonna read, and I'm gonna enjoy what I'm reading. So I've currently been reading the Red Rising series. It's a sci-fi fantasy series. It's really, really
Ooh.
good.
Nice. I'm
Yeah.
currently reading The Guild was the first book series. I think it's like The Plated Prisoner is the name of the
Yeah, I've
series.
heard of it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I read the first three books. Like I'm an audiobook person, so I do a lot more
Gotcha.
audiobooks because I've got a toddler. So I'm like, we're walking to the
Yeah.
park or we're in the car and I can constantly kind of like go around. But that's been a good one.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I'm about to start the Mistborn series, which I've heard is really good. It's they just got
Okay.
picked up for an Apple TV movie series. People are saying it's going to be the next Harry Potter. We'll see on that. So I'm about to start reading those here pretty soon. I think they just came in yesterday actually, so I just got the whole
Okay. I'll
series.
look it up.
Um, so it's kind of a fun question I always like to ask. If you had a little bit of magic dust and you could choose one spot in your business to sprinkle and everything there would be perfect, where would it be and why?
A little bit of magic dust. I'd probably sprinkle it on I guess on the marketing side. And I say that just because to me that the marketing is key. And I think we really have down the manufacturing, which I'm super proud of, Alwen
Yeah,
and my husband um and our team for really locking that in and having a good plan to scale and grow that. And I feel really confident in that. The marketing, again, like I said, like I just do not want to do it, the content creation. I struggle with the influencer game a little bit. Events are expensive. I know all of that ecosystem has to exist. And so
yeah.
for me, just getting that kind of ramped in the right way with the right team or partner agency, whatever that looks like, to me is going to kind of really take us to the next level.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I love that. Yeah, I do a lot of I have a background in TV and film and marketing, so I do a lot of like the social media stuff. And even though I study the algorithms and even though I know a lot of it, it still kind of sucks to do most of the time. But
Yeah.
even whenever you do understand everything, sometimes you're like, why is this trending right now? This is the thing I have to do, you know?
Well, and the speed at which you have to go, I think
Yeah,
is something that's really challenging. And, we care a lot about the business and higher innovation in our products. We want to be forward. So something that, I'm happy to do podcast or interviews, but like neither my husband nor I need to be doing like front-facing videos talking about like a day in the life of a founder. Like that's not me. I could do it, but I don't, it's not about me. Our company's not about me. It's not about Alwyn. It's about the products and how we make our customers' lives better and
yeah.
making it about like my story of like, here's a day in the life of me as a founder with my toddler. Like that's so chaotic and
Hmm.
not relevant to what we're growing. And so much of that style of content is what does really well. And it's not, if I had to do it, I can do it. It's just not, I think, the best use of anybody's time when I could find I'd rather foster my relationship with Walmart or Best Buy or find another partner to work with
Yeah, no,
to
I
try to
get
get
that.
that and just continue down the path of figuring out how to maximize the marketing spend.
Yeah. Well, before we get to the final question of the day, would you like to share with our audience how they can follow you guys, learn more, contact y'all?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can follow us on Instagram at higherinnovation.com, not plural, just regular higher innovation. My favorite platform is Threads, if I'm being honest with you. I think it's like a really fun little like happy social media ecosystem. So we're
Yeah.
at Higher Innovation, higherinnovation.com. And then you can always email us at I'm Ashley at higherinnovation.com, and I'm happy to answer anybody's emails as they come through. Or if people want a discount code, I'm happy to give a discount code that you can put in the comments as well.
Awesome. Well, we've come to the final question of the day, and that is what is most inspiring to you today?
What is most inspiring to me today?
Hmm.
Ooh, I would say what's most inspiring to me today is where manufacturing is going. I think because I'm in that world a lot. I think seeing the different ways that people are creating product is really exciting. And so I'm inspired by the ways that people are using additive manufacturing, just like we are, the different things that you can do with AI and other technologies to like better people's lives. Like that's really fun and inspiring. It's also super relevant to what we're doing and how we interact with our customers. And so I keep following that pretty regularly because I just think it's a really unique way that you can like have that we can have our business be successful and stand out. because that's how we kind of started from the beginning. And so I'm just
Yeah.
inspired by the different things that people are doing when it comes to like manufacturing and what you can do here versus overseas, what's coming on shore, all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's awesome. This was a great conversation. I really enjoyed kind of getting to hear your story and your husband's story. So thank you so much for sharing. Also, I just encourage all of you watching to save the show and come back and watch it again because Ashley really did have some great insights for business. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel so we get notifications every time a new conversation drops, just like this one. Thank you to everyone who joined us today, and a special thanks to you, Ashley, for being with us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And I will see you all in the next episode.